Hi and welcome back to another video. In today's conversation, I'm quite excited, guys, because I have a guest in the studio who's going to take us through a very important topic in careers. But guys, if you're here for the first time, in this channel, I share content on personal, professional, and career development topics to help you build a rewarding and fulfilling careers. And if you're a returning viewer, I'm happy to have you back and happy to learn that this channel has actually added value to you. So today's conversation, guys, we are going to focus on career path disruptions. And as you already know, or if you're outside there wondering why you're getting yourself in another or a different career apart from what you actually studied in school, and you're wondering how to navigate disruptions that come from time to time along our careers, then today you're gonna get answers in this video because I have an expert in the studio that is going to take us through this conversation. So help me to welcome my guest of today. Coach, how are you?
I'm good.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much.
And thank you so much for accepting to be here and honoring this invite. Yeah, so I just want you to start us off by introducing yourself, telling our audience who you are, what you do, and why do you do what you do.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, my name is Coach Kelvin Waga. Coach Kelvin Waga is a career coach who has a passion for helping job seekers and helping people pave their career paths. So why do I do what I do? I'm a byproduct of career confusion, something that really costed me so much when I was trying to find my my career path. So it's been always my passion to help people shorten the learning periods within the time that they're trying to get their career path. And it has really worked well for me. So just one thing to mention, this year I had set a target to impact around 100,000 job seekers, not only job seekers, but those people also are employed. Impact them in several ways through helping them secure a job, having a work-life balance, and so many things. So mental health at workplace has been key, and this is what really triggered the idea of career coaching. Yes.
Oh, thank you. So you maybe just before we get into the conversation, you said you want to help more than 100 people. And the other day I was watching one of your videos on YouTube and you said this year alone you helped 50,000. So I don't want to go into the deep, but I want to ask, how do you plan to help them?
Yes, one thing, we are living in a very competitive job market. And you realize if there's one frustration that job seekers are facing right now is balancing or like getting the career. The job market is changing, the technology is changing a lot of things. But you realize due to lack of knowledge or lack of experience, so many job seekers are doing the same thing over and again. And this has led to depression, whereby each and every day we wake up to either suicidal or we wake up to the mental issues that are leading job seekers in a certain path. We are also living in an economy whereby things are tough. Even if you're working from payslip to payslip, you earn today, tomorrow you're broke. So when I talk about impacting, I'm not saying that I'm going to give 100,000 jobs. But what I'm saying is I want to help 100,000 people rediscover their paths. I want to help them get job opportunities, and I want to help them gain the relevant skills required to survive in the job market. So this is something I've done, and so far the numbers are cruising. To your surprise, we might surpass the 100,000 mark even before the end of the year. And this is something that keeps me on the move every time I try to help at least a person rediscover their career path, get job opportunities, or just gain relevant experience on how to survive a job market.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that's quite interesting, and I think I completely agree with you that many job seekers are suffering. And to be honest, I think I'll applaud you for that, because it's really not easy to get people who go out of their way to selflessly share, or rather, and hold people. So just back to the topic of today's conversation, you want to talk to us about career path disruptions. Maybe in your own career, have you ever gone through a disruption? Is this what you've always wanted to do? So maybe just walk us through. Have you ever had a disruption in your career? How did you navigate through it, or how did you go about it?
Yes, this is something that I can say almost every one of us go through. You see, when you're growing up, you'll be told a lot of things. So we choose our careers not because it's something we want to do, but it's something somebody has imposed in our minds that we should do. Growing up, okay, I loved to be a journalist because it was so nice, it was so appealing looking at it from the other side of the screen. So I would tell myself that if I grow up, I would like to be like so and so on the screen. So I went studied journalism, that is communication and media, with anticipation that I was going to love what I was. Maybe after graduation, I would go. I would love my job. It's something I would do so passionately. But along the way, after graduation, in me, I found that I realized that I wasn't fulfilled with like there was something missing in my uh,
You're
in my
not
career
fulfilled
path.
with
Yes,
journalism.
I wasn't fulfilled. There was something that was missing. Yes, I was a communicator, yes, but still, it was like I wasn't doing what I loved doing. Then I transitioned into marketing. Because in today's world, journalism and marketing are totally different
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
But now I inherited the communication part into the marketing because it's something that I really loved to do. I loved to market and I loved interacting with people. So I found the passion in marketing. Then I did it for some time. Then along the way, I rediscovered other passion. And this is now something that I love to do. And I tell many people that I don't do it for money. I do it because I have a passion of helping people. So I realized that I had to kiss so many frogs along the way to get that thing that I get fulfilled to do. You can wake me up today in the middle of the night to help a job seeker maybe do a duty A and B. It's something I'll do passionately without struggling. So I had to disrupt a lot of things, a lot of maybe a lot of careers just to get what is the best fit for me. And since rebranding myself as Coach Kelvin Waga, a career coach, it has really given me the motivation and I get the kind of fulfillment. I'm paving my career path based on the career coaching. So I had to kiss so many frogs. I tried journalism, it worked, but there was something missing. I tried marketing, it worked, but there was something not like something was missing. Then when I got into coaching now, it's something that I do so passionately.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so just in line with what you've said, career path disruptions can happen either planned or unplanned. And I think the one that is unplanned is what I really want us to focus more about, because when it is unplanned, it comes with a lot of challenges. For instance, if somebody has just gone through a layoff, through a job loss for whatever purpose, and let's say they were in a career, or rather they were in a profession like accounting, but in between the time they don't have a job, they're looking for anything, or they get anything or something that can sustain them, and finally someone gets themselves in a career that they didn't plan. So in your case, from coming from marketing, from journalism, to getting yourself in career coaching, did you see it coming? And do we ever see career disruptions coming, or are there specific signs that can tell somebody that my career is going to be disrupted at this point or at some point?
One thing that I would love to say for the person viewing us, you have a job right now. What I can tell you is you need to define your career path. Defining your career path when you're settled is easier as compared to paving your career path due to unseen circumstances. So the reason as to why I'm saying this is most of us want to define our career paths when we are down. You've been laid, maybe the industries have changed. There's natural calamities, there's transformations. That is now when we want to discover what we want. But you realize that at that point, most of us are doing it for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
And when I talk about the wrong reason, we are doing it to get quick cash, like a comebacks. How can I get to where I was first? In that, there's a lot of confusion, just like you've mentioned. In your career, you realize that you've been maybe in customer service, but you studied public health. This time, you want to look for the public health jobs. You want to look for maybe jobs in customer service. At the same time, you want to look for jobs depending on other stuffs that you had done. But you're doing this now just to remain afloat. So, yes, sometimes a paving career path can be planned or unplanned, but it's always better for you to have it when you're relaxed, being in that it will help you think objectively and find the right thing for you to do. Remember, for the unplanned career path, like rediscovering your career path when it's unplanned, there's a lot of panic. How will I get myself through over 6 months? How will I get myself through over maybe a certain period of time? How will my kids survive this heat? So you realize that, yes, you want to redefine your career, but redefining your career is just getting a job, the job that will get you maybe to the next maybe few paychecks. So there are other factors that you should really look into, especially if you're working. Don't wait until last minute for you to redefine your career, because in that, what you'll be doing is what we call trial and error, whereby you want to try this. If it doesn't work, you'll jump to this. If it doesn't work, you'll jump to this, and it will get to a point whereby now you'll say, I'll take anything that comes my way. Then I'll use that to build I'll use that to build maybe career on that. So there are signs that you need to look into, especially if you're working right now or if you're looking to get a job. You realize that the 844 system just trains you to have the mentality of how to become the best employee. And you'll realize that this is where so many people get it wrong with their career. You've studied as accountant, and you realize that in your life you'll be like, I want to do the accountancy job, but you're not going out of your way to to research and find out what is the industry trends, what are the market trends. So by the time you're getting into the job market, you realize some of the roles maybe might have are rendered are redundant. And in that case, there are some signs that you really need to be on the lookout for you to notice if you need a career, maybe if you need to redefine your career or not. So the first one I talk about is demand in new skills, because skill sets are key. In campus, we are not being taught about the automation. We are being taught about the legacy ways maybe of doing things. But in the real world, there's a lot of the AI has disrupted the industry. So when you come into the job market, you realize that whatever you studied in school or whatever you used to do, things are changing. People are embracing new ways of doing things. So you need to be on the lookout for these skills for you to perform on the roles. For instance, now the AI is disrupting and is really laying off so many people, because you realize that a job that can be done by 5 people, if you maybe invest into an automation, it will render so many people jobless. So what you need to do is how can you upskill so that at least you match with that. Number 2, we have emerging roles and descriptions. Nowadays, you can hear a role and be like, what is this? What are these people talking about? Because there are so many titles maybe cropping in and day out. But now, as somebody who wants to redefine their career, because in the past, maybe you find that jobs like customer service, somebody was just being called maybe customer service officer. But nowadays, it has so many definitions. So it's upon you as an individual to see like what is the trend, what is the current trend in the market, and when it comes to these roles, and then now you prepare yourself maybe to match whatever it's in the industry to them. Then we have the shifts in demands and market. So many companies are transitioning from maybe e-commerce, maybe to the automation sector, or from the automation sector to a different sector. So as somebody who is looking to pave their career, what the number one key thing I can tell you for you to survive is always learn to upskill. And when we talk about upskilling, be equipped with the trends, or else maybe tomorrow you might walk in and you'll be told that we no longer need you because we found a replacement for you, something which in brackets is the AIs that can do a better job than you. So it's a good thing to learn how to operate these AIs, so that at least you learn how to keep your jobs. So there are several signs, but the key thing is always let us be alert. One thing I've experienced with so many clients I coach is you realize that we are so much comfortable as long as we can pay our rent, as long as we can take care of our bills, we can find a place to wake up each and every morning. We don't think about the next thing.
Yes, yeah.
So until the time that you've shown the door, that is now the time that you start doing things in panic, because you're doing them for the wrong reason. In that you get to a point you're so much confused, you love everything, and you can, in this maybe certain age, it is the specialization and being clear of what you want that will get you a seat in that office.
Oh, wow, that's quite interesting, and an elaborate description of that. So I just want us to focus also on, you've mentioned about AI. And I don't know, I'll ask this question, you'll tell us from where you sit, and we constantly see the evolution of AI, maybe one phase after the other. Do you think AI is going to get to a point where there will be a complete replacement even for certain roles from where you sit? Do you think there are certain roles that are going to be completely replaced by AI from where you sit? Or has AI just come to make work more easy for us?
It depends with the perspective on how you view it. Because one thing you have to remember is these AIs are being operated by individuals. With as much as they're automated, somebody has to sit and give the commands. So if you're seated somewhere and thinking that you'll be replaced by an AI, you need to think, how do I outsmart the AI so that I can use it to maybe give the commands for them to do the exact thing. What I've seen, there's a lot of panic, especially the moment you realize that there's an AI that has come in place to do the job that you're doing. You'll focus at, like, you look at it in the perspective of, this one, I think this is going to take me out of the job. But the real thing should be, how can I use this to my advantage for me to help do a better job?
Yeah.
So if you look at it from the victim's perspective, yes, it's going to phase out so many jobs. But if you look at it from the positive perspective, it is a tool for you to help you do your work best. Remember, there's an example, as you are having a conversation, there's an example that I gave. You see, for instance, nowadays, if you get into the health sector, especially into maybe the dentical staffs, you realize that a machine or a technology can do the replacement of maybe the tooth and all such kind of stuff. But what you need to remember, for this to be done, somebody has to sit on the other side to operate the machine. But you look at it in terms of, when it comes, how many people will lose jobs? So it's the perspective. Yes, it will, but no, it won't. So if you upskill yourself, because I can give you for an example, there's this thing we call chat GPT. These are the online writing tool. We can operate the same system. But you realize I'll do a better job as compared to the job that you've done. Not because of the AI, but because I've learned how to operate that particular maybe that particular technique. So this is what I can say. Yes, it will phase out, but it depends in the perspective to which you look at it. Because remember, it's you who have the experience. It's you who knows who understands the job. So your role is just to direct the robot on what to give the commands, on how you can make your job a better, how you can make your job a better, like how you can be best at doing your job. Yes.
And about maybe just while we are still at that, you've talked about upskilling, you've talked about skills and all that, and I think when a disruption occurs, like for example, maybe a typical example of somebody who has been in a career that maybe you've been in a career for like 8 years, but you realize at some point, I think you encounter those clients where somebody's telling me, I want to transit, I want to be, from marketing to maybe a graphic design, not even that, maybe a HR or something. So that is somebody maybe who has realized that they are not doing what they love, so they want to get into a different line. And of course, with that needs to come transferable skills that somebody needs to take from one role to the other. Do you think from where you sit that there are standard transferable skills that you need to have, especially if you want to go through a successful transition?
No and yes. One thing I tell people is, allow me, I always like giving perspective before I go direct to the answers. One thing I tell people is, sometimes it's good to be sure of where you are going than just have an idea of where you want to go. When it comes to skills, like we were mentioning it before, you realize that you possess so many skills, but these skills, some of them are not adding value to your life. Number one thing, allow me stick on that point for a moment. First of all, a career is something that you are passionate about and something that you can do at free will. One thing you need to know is, what are some of the skills that you possess that will make you, like, that will aid in the process of you doing that particular duty. And in some instances we get confused because right now you can be employed in a company, for instance, as maybe a receptionist. But you realize that you're a receptionist, but you've been given roles such as social media management. You've been given roles such as administrations. You've been given roles maybe into customer service, in that you attend to these customers, you talk to them. So in your head, you're a jack of all trades. And because I can come to you and say, hey, Nelly, you're doing a good job. Hey, are you good at customer service? The other person will come to you and tell you, oh, you're good at sales. The other person will come and tell you. So you'll realize that so many people have told you you're good at so many things. But in the real sense, there are things that you struggle to do. There's things that you can do at free will. In this case, for you to come up with a relevant transferable skills, you need to list down all the skills that you possess. Once you've listed these skills down, then you need now to categorize the skills into, what do I do? Like, what do I really enjoy doing? What do I do with, like, what other skills I can do them, but still you'll find that I'll do them with a lot of difficulty. So if you narrow it down and do pros and cons of every skills, and you're sure of where you're supposed, like where you want to be, you'll find that it will be easier for you now to identify these transferable skills, because they are the skills that we learn, like there are skills that we learn in our career, for instance, in school. There are these skills that we acquire in our experiences, and these innate skills, such as intro, like somebody telling you, I'm a team person, I'm an introvert, and I'm an extrovert. If you're sure of what you want to do with your life as a career, identifying and now sticking to those particular skills, because they are transferable skills. Nowadays, you can't work in an organization if you don't have what we call the communication skills, because this is a skill that is needed. Whether you'll be talking to people directly, you'll be writing email, you need to have something like the communication skills. Remember, people open businesses because there are problems to be solved. So you have to solve a problem, either directly or indirectly. So these are some of the skills that once you've really identified, because communication is key, problem solving is key. We have the technical proficiency, because we've talked about AIs, we've talked about the automations. Remember, nowadays you'll see here systems here and there, you'll hear maybe an AI here and there. You need somebody to operate them. But majorly, if you have the problem solving skills, you have the leadership skills, you have the communication skills. That one, now you'll realize it will be easy for you now to transition, because these are transferable skills that you can pick from one industry to the other. Yes.
So you don't, maybe just to summarize all that, you don't believe there's standard transferable skills that can be transferred across industries?
There are.
Or there are, yeah?
There are, yes.
Okay.
There are.
All right.
But like, there are transferable skills, but you have to know how to tailor them to your specific job. Yes.
Okay.
Because communication is key. You have to communicate with somebody. And we have problem solving, like we've mentioned. We have team spirit, the team leadership. We have there are skills which are which are mandatory.
Yeah.
But still, you really need to know them, how you can curate and tailor them to your specific job, your specific dream career.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And when it comes to disruptions, I think we've touched a bit on what will cause a career disruption. We've mentioned, of course, a job loss for whatever reason, and we've also mentioned maybe someone just being in a career or a job they don't like, and after some years they realize that this is not what I want, and they want to transit. In your experience or from your knowledge, do you think there are any other causes? There could be any other causes of career disruptions?
Yes, there are quite a number. In 2020, we were visited by a pandemic. And if you would walk around, you realize that there are people with the big machines, such as V8, but you could see them hawking fruits.
Yeah.
You could realize that so many people are losing their job.
Yeah.
So many people. There are people who, for instance, they were office, like they were used to an office setup. So that one, number one, unexpected calamities. That is one of maybe that is one of reasons for a career disruption, and we saw what it did.
Yeah.
And even post it, so many people came up with a lot of things. We have geographical relocation. For instance, if you've relocated maybe to a different city or to a different area, you'll have to rethink your career. Let's take for an example, if you're used to working in the African market, and then now you migrate into the maybe the international international countries such as US and UK. Sorry, you realize that you really need to redefine your career and learn on how you can adapt to that specific area. We have the industry transformation, because nowadays a lot of things are changing. So many things are changing, and you realize that maybe an organization X was producing maybe products and services, and now instead of maybe working on the products and services, they've transitioned now into specifically services. So if you're somebody who was used to maybe dealing with products, you need to retransition. Like you need to think of ways on which you can maybe at par with the job market. We also have shifts in markets. Shifts in markets can also lead to a career disruption. So these are just a few, but there are so many. There are so many reasons. There are so many factors that can lead to that.
Okay.
Yes.
And allow me to just take you back a bit on the skills. On the skills, and what I want to specifically get is that, are there specific skills that you need to have, especially, you're just having a very promising career, like you've mentioned the impact of COVID-19 and all that. So are there specific skills that will really say that makes us ready, that when whatever type of disruption comes, I possess skills that even if I go to this industry, even if I get myself in this situation, I will actually be able to forge ahead?
Yes. I can use an example to elaborate this. All of us go through problems. We have personal problems at whatever stage that we do, and that is the same thing that happens maybe in the job market. There are several reasons as to why people open businesses or start businesses. Number one is they have identified a problem and they want the problem solved. So being somebody who can critically think, and maybe you can think critically and solve problem, that is a skill. Like you can think on the toes. So like if there's a problem, you're used to solving problem A, but right now we have problem B. You can pick the skills that you had, like the skills you utilize to solve that problem, and bring it to whatever you're solving now. So problem solving, that is something that it's a must have.
Yeah.
Because remember, you're going to be dealing with the people. So if you can have that, that is a sure bet. And for every job, this I can take. It's something that you can take to the bank. They are looking for people who are critical thinkers. So that is a skill that one must possess. Number two is customer service. You see, sometimes I tell people that every one of us is a salesperson, Because number one, you need to sell yourself to your boss. Number two, you need to sell yourself to maybe your colleagues. You need to sell yourself to the clients. You really need to
You're always selling.
yeah, you're always selling.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
for you to sell properly, you need what we call the customer service skills. Because remember, products don't interact with products, or services don't interact with services. There must be the human aspect in it. So if you possess the customer service, like you're somebody who can really relate to people, you're somebody who can really you can really understand. So this brings me now to active listener. You realize that sometimes I interact with salespeople, for instance. There are people, they are talking to you, but they are not listening to what your pain points are. They want to recite what they were told maybe by their managers. So it'd be like before you even answer, somebody will come up and narrate for you a script. So customer service is always very key, and also the active listenership. Because for you, if you want to solve my problem, imagine this situation, picture this situation, you've gone to the hospital, you walk in, the doctor sees you, and even before you say what you want, like the whatever you're looking for, the doctor will be like, I know what is wrong with you. You have a headache, but you're having the stomachache on the other end. And we'll be like, I know this headache. I can see it from your eyes. And for you to treat this specific kind of illness, this is what you need.
Yeah.
So you need the customer service, and you need the skills that comes with the customer service, so that you have to be a good listener. You also need to convince people, because convincing, you see, sometimes, just like we were talking with you earlier, when it comes to agreeing on other things, the way you say it matters the most. We can be saying the same thing, but the way you present what you're saying are the most. So there are these innate skills that we possess that we can transfer from one job. These are non-negotiable. And you cannot say that now I'm an introvert, I cannot learn how to do customer service. Because remember, when you get to the work, you'll be reporting to people. And if you're a leader, for instance, you need your people to understand what you're talking about. And because you're not categorizing yourself as a customer service person, remember, your first employees, your first customers are the people you work with. You should listen to them. You should really be in a position to talk to them. So these are just a few, but there are several things that they cut across all industry.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I think that's fine. And maybe there are a few examples that you've given. I completely agree that things like customer service, being able to communicate, and of course, critical thinking, those are things that you'll really need them across industries. So maybe just also, I know we've talked about AI, which is an aspect of technological advancement. Let me just take you back a bit in terms of the technological advancement and automation that you've also mentioned a bit in the past. So do you think automation and the technological advancement, maybe even examples of AI being a component of it, do you maybe just walking us a bit into the future? How do you see the future of careers? Are we seeing more disruptions? Are we seeing the increase or decrease of people getting into jobs or careers that they never even thought they would have?
Yes. In the past, it was all about go to school, get good grades, and then you'll get a job. But that one nowadays, it's gone to the future.
Yeah.
You'll walk outside here, you'll find people with papers, real, leave alone the river road papers. You'll find people with good papers, quality. Somebody is a professor, somebody is maybe a doctor, somebody has good first class honors degree. But this one won't earn you a position in a company. Nowadays, it's not all about what can you do for us, which narrows down to the skill sets that you are talking about. And if you want to survive in this job market, you really need to be invested in what is happening currently, and how can I maybe invest in myself to fit in that particular industry. Because it's not nowadays, it's no longer about what you study. It's no longer about the papers that you hold. It's no longer about how long you've worked. You can walk into an interview You have all these papers, you have all the relevant qualification. Then somebody who didn't step maybe into a university, you sit down with this person, and you realize that this person will be appointed, like he'll get the job, but you'll miss the job. And then you'll walk out of that place and say, these people are corrupt. How comes I have all it takes to get the job, but it's this person that was not picked? So what am I trying to say? With emergence of this automation and or maybe automation, AIs, and the shift in the market and industries, it is going to be here. And it's going to live, because remember, we are living, maybe there's a recession, there's maybe economical challenges, economical upgrades, and each and every day is maybe wars, maybe disrupting other countries. So there are numerous ways of doing things. And we are living in an emerging kind of economy. Let me narrow it down to economy. And with the emergence of economy, so many industries are looking for ways on how to remain afloat. And for them to remain afloat, they'll have to rechange a lot of things. So if you're not the person who wants to move with the trend, you realize that at some point you'll be phased out totally. So things are changing, and as individuals also you need to change. And this is a message to I have so many people I interact with. People don't like reading. Like, we want somebody to read for us, to interpret for us, then we'll get to learn. Allow me refer maybe into what is happening right now into the Kenyan economy. Like right now, I think there's something about finance bill. There are so many people are talking about finance bill. They don't know the implications. And they're like, oh, these guys, they just want us to pay 100,000 shillings for the cars. And you'll find that being that they watch news and they get what other people are saying, they don't know what exactly is in for that. So you say that they don't want to read, they don't want to really get to learn. And that is now what is happening into the general job market. We want to trust the news, the legacy news, the social media, what other experts are telling us for us now to have our preformed opinion. If you want to survive this in this economy, this does not only refer to the job, maybe the employees. Even if you want to get into to do your own business, you want to build a career and maybe build it into a business, you need to be in a position whereby you are open to the industry, because the world is changing. And if you don't change with the world, you'll be crying maybe few months, few years later that they say it's witchcraft. So you really need to be in the moment. Yeah.
Wow, I think that's quite interesting. And what I get loudly is the aspect of adaptability and readiness. We are shifting from the phase where we would go to school, because I've done accounting. That is what I'm fixated on. I'm coming out looking for jobs in accounting. And also, I think maybe just to add on what you said, Kelvin, is that is what caused a lot of frustration, because most of the time you meet people looking for jobs, and the first thing somebody tells you is that, which is okay, is a good thing, is that they've graduated. It's okay to graduate, but by the aspect that we've graduated with a degree or something, we feel that we need to do that which we learned back in school. And that also takes me, I'm just remembering the other day I reached out to somebody. There was someone I was helping to get a job. So when I asked the person I was reaching out to, like, do you guys hire entry-level diplomas? I really liked the response she gave me. She told me, as we don't hire we don't hire academic qualifications. We hire people who can do the job. And I think that's what you're talking about, that we are getting to the phase, or we will move into the future where we'll be looking for people, or the world will need people who can actually do the job, irrespective of the qualifications. All right. So I think I'm taking that home personally. That's quite interesting. So I think we're almost coming to the end of this conversation, and I just want to ask a few more questions. And one of them is in terms of course, personal development or upskilling that you've talked about severally. You said we don't like learning. You said we don't like reading, and I think I was also telling you that previously, that reading is not our thing. So then, with that mind, where we are in a society or in a generation where people don't like reading, so what then is the role of mentorship and coaching, especially in just helping the young people or the people just getting into their career?
Mentorship is
and
key.
Coaching, yeah.
And the reason mentorship is key, I am a devoted Christian. And there's a verse that says, many people perish due to lack of knowledge. You realize that there are mistakes that in life it takes you 20 years, 40 years to learn. But you can digest this into it can take somebody 30 minutes just by watching this video to get to learn. Mentorship is key. And the reason mentorship is key, you see, one time I was telling somebody was complaining to me that they are really they're really frustrated. Things are not working in their lives, and they like to them they felt that they've reached the end. And I was like, what exactly is happening? I can't get a job. Like so many of my peers are doing well outside there, but to me, I'm stagnating at this specific point. You know what I did? I just tried to tweet the reality. Said, "Oh, that is good. So let us just bring this scenario home. For instance, do you have a house? Yes, I have a single room somewhere I'm staying, and I'm not satisfied with that because I get frustrated. Do you sometimes maybe get 1 meal a day, 2 meal a day? Yes, I eat, but still there's something lacking. So do you have people you can rely to call to talk to? Yes, I do have that, but I want more." Then I just painted a picture. I want you to picture this. You're walking along the streets. Along the streets, you meet this person without a leg, you meet this person without maybe the feet, and this is somebody who is crawling down asking for help. I want you to put yourself in their shoes. What do you think they are going through? What is their prayer point? And what is it that really they are really looking forward to getting? In this today's economy, even to job seekers, they tend to believe that you need to know somebody who knows somebody for you to get
a job.
a job. There are people who believe that jobs are for specific people.
True.
They don't want to do the work.
Yes.
I was once a victim. In fact, I was telling these stories the other day on LinkedIn. In the past, you see, it was so good to float around. By the way, I'm a graduate with a second class honor division. I have masters in communication development. So you see, these were titles that if you could throw around, you could get somebody to listen to you. Some people, like you see, like I coach people, for instance, they are like, I don't have school fees to, maybe I don't have school fees maybe to upgrade. I think my life is at a point that I can't do anything. And then I ask them, have you ever heard of these things we call University of YouTube? How much do you need to pay to join the University of YouTube? Because there are a lot of content that you can do, that there are a lot of content that you can learn from that specific platform. You realize that somebody tells you that I cannot afford maybe bundles to watch YouTube, but this is somebody who spends the whole day on TikTok and Facebook just doing a lot of nonsense, laughing, sharing contents, commenting on these other platforms. But still they believe for them to get the skills that they need, they have to attend university or they have to attend class to get to where they are. Mentorship is key because sometimes we tend to view things within the box. We don't want to view things outside the box. We want to get stories of like so many people subscribe to what I called poverty pornography. I come from a poor background. We were not privileged enough to attend school. And we talk about poverty pornography. You want to get people to talk about it, like anybody you want to meet, you want to tell them the problems that you are going through. You're spending a lot of time doing a lot of nonsense, following other people's stories. For instance, what has happened into the family of A, B, and C. You are building these people, but you don't want to take time to rebuild yourself. So mentorship is key in that you'll point these people into the right direction. I'm not telling you that you don't spend your time on TikTok. I'm not telling you that you don't spend your time on Facebook. But what am I telling you? With as much as you're spending time there and you're spending your resources there, you need also to find time to upgrade yourself. Witchcraft is there if you believe, or our privileges are there if you believe. But if you seize the moment, it will always come. But now we are living in this mentality that, for instance, you can be talking to someone and they'll be telling you like, for now, I'm not ready to this. I'm waiting maybe to accumulate maybe this amount of resources for me to do this. But still we have the knowledge within our hands. In the past, it was very difficult to buy a book because a book would cost 2,000 shillings. Right now, you can walk along the streets, get a book at maybe 500 shillings, 300 shillings, get the relevant skills. And this is why there's a dynamic shift. We are having two young stupid millionaires, whereby you'll realize that somebody just due to doing a stupid thing overnight, they turn into millionaires. And why am I calling them stupid millionaires? In that they are so much engraved into the money that they make. So they want to define themselves with that money. The moment that money is withdrawn from them, like their source of income has been cut, you realize that they get into depression and they cannot get. And this is why I thank TikTok and I blame TikTok. It's easy to get money because go to TikTok right now, show whatever you can show, or however beautiful or ugly it is, it will earn you money. And the moment you start getting this money, so many people are getting money by just moving maybe their body parts, their heads, their hands. And if you can do it consistently, you'll get that. But you'll realize that somebody spends too much time on that particular platform until they forget that they have a life out of that particular platform. So when the platform is closed, and then now people return to the drawing board, they are totally confused. So mentorship is key because mentorship helps people point them in the right direction. Because so many people are doing things like they are into they are victims of problems just because they have not been pointed into the right directions. Yeah.
Wow. I think that's quite powerful. And one thing that stands out strongly also for me from that line is that we need to do in the work. People are not, we're not willing, or rather most of us are not willing. We want to really be helped in that you want somebody to get the content, read it for you, and even interpret it for you, which is quite interesting. So Kelvin, I just want you to tell maybe just as an advice to somebody who's struggling to get a balance in their career. What would you tell such a person, especially if they might have not necessarily gone through a disruption, but they're actually struggling to get a balance?
Yes, I am not a saint. That is why I can start by saying that I am not a saint. At one point in my life, I got to, like, I was depressed. And why was I depressed is because things were not working for me the way I wanted them to, to work. For instance, I didn't have a job, like I got fired along the way. It was so difficult for me to get a job. So what did I do? I sat back and rebranded myself as a victim, and then I used that to seek pity from other people. I stopped doing the job. I stopped putting in the effort required to get me to where I want to. Everybody has a potential of being what they want. Everyone has a potential of getting what they want. But this will only happen if you put in the work. Prayer works, but with prayer needs actions. You need to put in the work. For instance, what did I do? Because I used to sit down on the computers, send CVs. Maybe my uncles used to ask me for CVs. Before I sent the CV to them, they could tell me that, yes, the CV you shared with me, I've already sent it to somebody else. But remember, I've not sent the CV to the person. And they were like, yes, I received your CV and I've already sent it to the other person. And they've said that they'll give you a call. So I was relying so much on other people to give me the job. I didn't really put in the relevant or the commensurate work on it. For you to get into what you want to do, whatever is making you money now, always invest more and ask yourself, what can I do as an individual to help me propel me for the next 20 years? Because remember, today you might be faced out of employment. And if there's one thing that we can agree on, if you're having an 8 to 5 job, it will be like a rat race. And you see something funny with the rats, they'll eat it and then come back, eat it again and then come back. When you get that food from there, you'll realize that you'll totally disorient these people's life. Put in the work. And if the good thing, if you don't like reading, you can watch. If you don't like watching, you can just attend these free webinars. Just get to learn something new. And one thing that you need to tell yourself is, how can I use this to my own advantage? the problem why we are facing what we are facing is because we've won the art of victims, in that we are not lucky people. And somebody is not doing in the work. Like your work is to sit on a computer, send a bogus CV to somebody, or your work is to sit on a computer and start emailing people, I've not eaten, I am suffering, please give me a job. But you're not really intending to do in the work that is required.
Okay.
As an expert in this field, and this is what I get, I think this is going to be my closing remark. I get so many people reach out to me that they are looking for jobs. But one thing that stands out for me is they all have the same scripts. And when I talk about the same script is, I have been following up for some time. I'm suffering. I'm really in need of a job. Anything that will help me, that is what I want. But and then you ask this person, like, what exactly can you do? And then be like, I can do anything right now. Just give me anything I can do. There's no organization that does everything. Identify your skill set, build on your career, research and find out what is the problem of these industries that I'm working with. Build your career upon that problem so that I can walk to you and tell you, hey Nelly, I've been seeing sadness in your face. And from what I can look, you are undergoing maybe psychological problem A, B, and C. I can do C and D to help you bring back the smiley faces, so that I don't bring my problems, because nobody wants to associate themselves with
Problems, yeah.
Build your career, define your career, and in that, it will help you become what you want to become.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So, Kelvin, thank you so much. That has been indeed an amazing conversation. And I know you are a career coach. And as a career coach, you work a lot with clients who's gone through career disruption, who are trying to figure out their career. So maybe if there's somebody outside there who's gone through a disruption and maybe they've not even gotten a job, they're wondering where they're going to start from, or they just got themselves in a job that they completely know anything about. As you've said, people will reach out and tell you that they want anything. And honestly, at that time of looking for a job, and especially things surrounding our economy, surrounding even the current trends in the world, most people will go for anything just to sustain their family or to sustain themselves for a period of time. So I just wanted to tell, as we close this, just to tell our audience how they can get you, how you can help them, especially with your services of career coaching.
Yes. Now, my number one platform is LinkedIn. LinkedIn, you can find me under Coach Kelvin Waga. The good thing, I give, like whatever we've talked about, I give it for free. So you have no reason to not follow the page. Number two, you can reach us through our website, that is Coach Kelvin Waga, as a personal brand, and you can maybe reach us through the DM. We are on social platforms as Coach Kelvin Waga. So our contacts, you can maybe WhatsApp us on 0710 35 93 26. Or once you've gotten onto LinkedIn, you can find various ways of reaching us. One thing, I'm always a simple guy. Like when you look at me online, you might think I'm a very complicated guy, but I'm open book. And when I get to interact with people, I interact with every category of people I can help.
Okay.
So I'm always open. I don't have a lot of red tapes. And maybe if you reach out through our office, they'll maybe connect you to me, or you can reach me. You can reach to me directly, so that we have this personal touch.
Wow.
And you can also find us on YouTube under Coach Kelvin Waga.
Amazing. And thank you for being an open book.
Yes.
So thank you so much, guys, for watching. I have learned from this conversation. And if you're outside there going through a disruption, and as the coaches told us that you really need to, some of the important points that I've picked is that you need to upskill, and you need to be very ready, be very adaptable, even as we go along with the disruptions like AI, automation, and all that. You need to be in a position where you're much equipped, or you're relevantly skilled, so that you're not replaced by AI. And I won't also forget to just emphasize the point that coaches said about being willing to put in the work, guys. You have to be willing to put in the work, invest in yourself, invest in your career, And above all, let us not be victims of circumstances. So that brings us to the end of this conversation. Thank you so much for watching. And if you're not subscribed to this channel, please just make sure to subscribe, because in this channel we are all about learning and helping you build the rewarding and fulfilling careers. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.